Hello everyone. So, how many times have you walked through the grocery aisle spending minutes and hours together looking for healthier food options? With all the marketing going around, we really need to work like detectives sometime to look for the foods that are actually healthy. A lot of times, even the experts they fall for the foods that look healthy but may not be healthiest. And to buy the gluten-free foods is a new trend, as a lot of people they think that gluten-free is healthy. So, is gluten-free actually the healthy food, or do you need to be following that gluten-free food? So, before we go more into the details of gluten free food and if you should be following it or not, first we need to know what is gluten. So gluten, it's a protein that is present in wheat, rye and barley. So these are the three grains that contain this protein. So these grains have them, and all the foods that are made of these grains also of course have the gluten in them, be it breads, pasta, cakes, cookies, crackers, all of those foods when they are made of wheat, rye, or barley, they do have gluten in them. And also, when the food is processed in the same facility where these grains are processed, then that food is also going to be contaminated with gluten. So, people who have celiac, which is an autoimmune disease, they need to be on a gluten free diet because their body cannot tolerate gluten. So they start to have absorption issues in the small intestines. So, for the people who have celiac, definitely they need to be on a gluten-free diet. And some people they do not have celiac, but they have gluten sensitivity. For them also, it is not an autoimmune response, but still that can damage their intestine, small intestine lining. So they also need to be on a gluten-free diet. So those are the two people that those should be. And there are a lot of other people who are on gluten-free diet because they feel that they need to be on a gluten-free diet, or they feel that it is a healthier option for them. So are all gluten-free foods healthy? No, you are going to answer that question for me. So apple is gluten free, and then we can have a gluten free cookie. So do you think they both are equal nutritiously, or they both are healthy options? Well, the answer depends. Majority of the time, of course, apple is going to be more healthy than a gluten free sugar free cookie, because the ingredients they differ widely, with most of the growth driven by consumers with whom like gluten free is not medically necessary. There has been a lot of demand of the gluten free food. On the other side, as per some research, there are about 85% of the people who are not even who have celiac, and they are not even diagnosed for that, because they feel something off and then they start being gluten free and the symptoms go off, so they never get tested for for gluten intolerance or for celiac. So in order to be tested for, if somebody feels that they have gluten sensitivity or they have gluten intolerance or celiac, before they start changing their diet, they should be tested by the doctors. They should report that to the doctors, because if you have these symptoms, you need to be tested by the doctors when you are still on the diet. If you try to eliminate the gluten from your diet and you feel better and then you go for testing, then the result is going to be false negative. Then the doctor will not be able to find that if you have gluten sensitivity or celiac or not. So anytime if you feel anything, it is better idea to check with the doctor before switching diet on your own, so that you can have a proper diagnosis. Now, For those who have a medical reason to be on a gluten-free diet, that is definitely very important. But what about the people who think that gluten-free is healthy? Like I mentioned, between the difference between the apple and gluten-free, sugar-free cookie. Similarly, there could be other risks of going on a gluten-free diet. Just jumping on the gluten-free diet and feeling that accomplishment that, oh, I have done something great, may not be the best of the ideas. First of all, majority of the times when the regular foods that usually contain wheat and all, when they are substituted with the non-gluten ingredients, they are very high in simple carbohydrates, because majority of the time the gluten is replaced by what? By rice flour, by potato starch. Those are simple carbohydrates, and the fiber content is very, very low. So the substitute to gluten, to the wheat flour, it could be very low in fiber. It could be very high in simple carbohydrates. Majority of the time, this is what happens in most of the commercially available food items. Secondly, um, if you eliminate gluten, again the fiber is going to be less majority of the cases. And sometime, like I remember a few days back, I had somebody and she was telling that somebody in her family, whenever she ate a big dish of pasta, she would feel very sleepy, she would feel very, very tired. And moment she removed all that gluten from her diet, that person is feeling better. But do you think it could be the gluten? The thing is, carbohydrates in general, when eaten in bigger quantity, they make you feel lazy. They make you feel like sleepy. So eliminating that gluten or eliminating that wheat from the diet was not the solution. The solution was to cut on the portions of the carbohydrate, right? What else? So if you're eliminating gluten just because you feel that you should be, so again there could be other downsides of that also. Majority of the time when there are products that are made of wheat products, wheat they are fortified with B vitamins and iron, but when the substitutes are made, they are not fortified with these things, so they lack all these nutrients in them, like B vitamins or and iron. And like I mentioned earlier, gluten-free products, they may just be as high or even more higher in calories, because sometimes when because the taste is going to be different, so to compromise for that taste, sometimes more fat is used, sometimes more sugar is used to make the food more palatable. It's not uncommon for people to eat gluten free like toast for breakfast, and then crackers for lunch, and uh, gluten free maybe tortillas or gluten free bread for dinner, and gluten-free cookies for snack. But again, if you do not read the labels carefully, they could be nutritionally very like very low nutritious value they could have. And gluten-free junk food is still a junk food. While a gluten-free cookie, it may not have that wheat, but it could have like extra fat, it could have that extra sugar in there. And that was the nutritional part, that was the medical part. The secondly, it also affects your social life. Just imagine yourself going to a friend's place and looking for that special piece of food or special piece of cake which is gluten free. That can be frustrating. And the last but not the least, it can be hard on the pocket also. Gluten, majority of the time, the gluten-free foods, like the processed foods, they are higher in price, right? So if there is no need to be on a gluten-free diet, it's better to be it's better to be on a regular diet. If you have any doubts, talk to your doctor, talk to your doctor or talk to those professionals to get tested for it, and then it might be a good idea to switch your diet. And that is it for today. I hope it was helpful. So, thank you so much for watching. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Bye.